Hi everybody, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to talk about the supplements that I take and why I take them. So with no further ado really, I'm just going to get straight into it. So the first one that I take is just a multivitamin, and I got these from Amazon and they're a good sort of all-rounder. They are vegan friendly and it's also a 12-month supply, so that means that it'll last a year. It will take a few days if you forget a few of them. And I chose this one also because it's made in Britain, and I figured it's slightly better for the environment that way, not having to be shipped from China or something. I take a multivitamin just to cover all my bases, and also it's generally recommended that everybody take a multivitamin because of the way that we eat now and the way that food is made. You might be thinking, why would I take something else if I'm already taking a multivitamin? Well, the answer is we're all very unique. We're unique on the outside, and we're also unique on the inside. And although there are certain levels that are considered normal, some people may actually benefit from having varying levels of vitamins and nutrients. Vitamins and minerals, I keep meaning to say, depending on their individual needs. But obviously this is quite difficult to determine. And now for me, these are the things that I do. So the other thing that I take every day is I take a magnesium, here we go, I take a magnesium supplement, 250 milligrams. This is because of my menstrual cycles. So when I was a teenager and I was having my first periods, they were actually really painful, and they would cause me to take the first day of them off. If I was not at home, I'd have to either come home from school or I'd have to take the day off from school. And they would make me feel really sick and really nauseated, and they'd be very painful. And the only thing that I could really do was curl up in bed with a hot water bottle and wait for it to pass until it got better, and I wouldn't be able to eat anything either. It wasn't until somebody told me that I might have a magnesium deficiency, and then that changed things. Suddenly they weren't as painful and they got a lot better. And they continued to get better, and eventually I stopped taking magnesium. I think maybe having babies does stuff to your hormones and sort of settles them down. At least that's what I experienced. But recently, in the last 6 months or so, I've had some really strong periods that have knocked me for six, and I started to think maybe my magnesium reserves have got a bit low. And certainly, as soon as I get back on magnesium, my menstrual cramps are a lot better, almost to the point where I can't feel them anymore. Now, I can't guarantee that that would be the same result for you, but I can tell you why magnesium works in the way that it does. Magnesium actually relaxes the smooth muscle fibers of the uterus. The uterus is basically 100% muscle, and that's what makes it so efficient at squeezing out babies. So it has these smooth muscle fibers, and obviously when you're cramping, what you're experiencing is actually the uterus contracting and squeezing in a painful way. So magnesium helps the muscles to just relax, and also it reduces the prostaglandins that are actually present when you're on your period, and that they cause period pain. So it can actually reduce those hormones that actually sort of give you the pain. The deficiency is very common, so if you have painful periods, or you're kind of thinking, what's the harm in taking some magnesium? Then do so. It has lots of other benefits, such as helping you sleep, and also just with muscles in general and muscle performance, but also converting your food into energy. And it can also help with your mood because of the way that it converts tryptophan into serotonin, which is the thing that makes you the thing that helps you regulate your mood. It can also help with PMS headaches for similar reasons, apparently. I've never had PMS headaches, but I definitely get the cramps, and it definitely helps me. You can eat things like dark chocolate. It's actually quite high in magnesium and antioxidants, and cacao for that similar reason. I used to put cacao nibs in my iron boosting smoothie, which I have a recipe for. You can check it out. And they are so good, and they're actually quite tasty. You can eat things like spinach, quinoa, black beans, whole grains, almonds, cacao, and also if you feel like giving yourself a bit of a pampering bath, you can use Epsom salts, which are magnesium sulfate. And actually you can, if you're having a crampy day or something, you could get in the bath with some magnesium sulfate and enjoy a lovely relaxing bath. Please ignore my neighbour yelling over the fence for Leo. The other thing that I take, and I take in excess, is biotin. So when I was pregnant with Fox and then subsequently Orion, I actually noticed that my thumbnails in particular were getting very brittle, and I actually developed a crack in one of them, which thankfully wasn't painful, but it looked unsightly, and it meant that I had to keep my nails really short, and because otherwise it would catch on stuff. And I also just noticed that my nails weren't growing as long before they broke. So biotin is actually a B vitamin, and I believe it's sometimes B7, and very rarely it's called vitamin H, but most of the time it'll just be called biotin. And I actually take 10,000 micrograms of this stuff, which is a really high dose. You don't actually need a lot of biotin, but I had noticed that getting the regular amount of biotin through my multivitamin, for example, wasn't really making any difference. So I upped the dosage to 10,000 micrograms. You might be wondering, isn't that kind of a lot? Well, the reason that it's okay is because the B vitamins, and C in this instance, are water soluble. So that means that what your body doesn't use, it gets wasted through your kidneys and eventually your urine. So if your body has too much of like the B vitamins or the C, it just gets rid of it and uses what it needs. And since I've been taking it, I have been seeing a good improvement in my nails, but also it supports your skin and it also supports your hair. So you'll generally find it in hair, skin and nail supplements. Probiotics. I don't actually have any right now because I've run out. I haven't gone out to get any yet, but I take probiotics, and probiotics, what they do is they introduce good bacteria to your body, and you have hundreds and trillions of bacteria on your body. Not all of it bad, and some of it is actually very good. And you have a lot in your gut. And the good bacteria is what sort of helps your digestive system work properly. And in imbalance, you can have all sorts of problems. But I take them because I actually think that it really helps my skin. And there's a good reason behind this theory. So good gut bacteria actually helps keep inflammation in check. And my skin, on my face, I have rosacea, which is an inflammatory condition. You can't cure it, you can only manage it. And this means managing the inflammation that is typical of rosacea, with the flushing cheeks and the rosy nose, and sometimes it even goes up to my forehead and my chin if it's really bad. And actually I think that once I am on probiotics for quite an extended period of time, it actually looks a lot better. Apparently it can also support your immune system, it helps you heal faster, it can reduce allergens, UV damage, and also help with things like eczema and fungal infection. So having good healthy gut bacteria is really essential to your health, and those are the things that I take. In addition to having a probiotic capsule, I typically just take acidophilus, as I make a probiotic drink called water kefir, and this is very similar to the milk kefir that you can also make, which I don't take because I'm vegan, so I don't have dairy, but the water kefir is great. You can make it with fruit in it, and then you kind of get like a fruity infusion of this kind of fizzy, slightly tangy drink that's actually very refreshing and full of good stuff. At the moment I've got a batch with clementine segments in it. Things that I've done before that have worked really well have been things like raspberries, peach, strawberries and even orange. So if you're interested, I suggest giving it a go because it's really tasty and really good for you. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful for you, or interesting at least. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can just leave them below, and I'll be back next Monday with another video. Okay guys, bye!